Hi everyone, Janie here, and several years ago I made a YouTube tutorial on how to make these adorable notebooks that hold post-it pads. And not only does it hold the pad, it has a little pocket over here. So let's say that you write down someone's phone number and then you want to get to another piece of paper. Take it off, fold it, stick it in the pocket, and that phone number is safe. And to write on your pad, here is a pen that fits right in there. And so you have everything you need in one place. The pen, the post-it notes, and a cute little way of keeping them all together. Now, the tutorial I did involved putting layers on the front. So you have your cardstock and then you cut other papers down to layer on this. But I decided that today I'm going to do another video showing you how to make them without the layers. It's much easier, it is much faster, and I love it because you can decorate them any way you want. Like this one here, I kind of did shabby chic with lace and butterflies and pearls and appliques with a tie closure, or you can do it without adding anything and just using the beautiful papers. And so that's what I'm going to show you today. Okay, before I get started, because I know I'll forget this later in the video, you are probably wondering where to find these pens, and they are really hard to find, to be honest with you, and sometimes they're really expensive, but I found a place where you can get a 10-pack for $1.99, and there's no way you are going to beat that price even with shipping. So I will have a link to these pens below in the description box so you can find them, and then post-it notes you can pretty much find anywhere, but I'll also have a link below in the description box to the ones that I get off Amazon that come in a 24-pack of multiple colors. Alright, let's get started. So this project is for everyone, whether you're a brand new crafter or an advanced crafter. And I know a lot of brand new crafters may not have all the fancy tools that us other crafters have. So I just wanted to let you know that for this project, all you're going to need is a ruler, a pencil, and a pair of scissors. And of course, you're going to need some sort of adhesive like glue, double-sided tape, or both. Now, of course, if you're an advanced crafter, we have paper trimmers and scoreboards and all of that fun stuff. And if you're wondering how these are going to help you, I've already drawn it on here. So I put like a little dot. I measured. Let me grab my ruler to show you how I did this. So I measured and I put a little mark there. I measured and put a little mark there. And then I drew a line between them. Now, if I wanted that to be my cutting line, then I would cut right along that line. But if I needed it to be a score line, then I would just put my ruler right up against it, and I would lift that edge up just like so and push it up against my ruler and then press it down. I could even use my ruler kind of as a bone folder to press it down, and there is my score line. So that's all you're going to need are these things. Now for the rest of us, we are going to be using other things, and so in my video you'll be seeing me use this. But for the rest of you that don't have all this equipment, you now know what you need. The paper that I'm going to be using is from Prima Aquarelle Dreams, and I'm really not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but this is a 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. It is double-sided, which I really like to use, but you can also do this with 8.5 by 11 inch cardstock, and it doesn't have to be double-sided, but that is an added bonus. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down to 10.5 inches, and then I'm going to close this back up, and I'm going to be cutting 3 1/4 inch strips. So I'll be able to get 3 of them out of this, because this is the 10.5 is this direction, but this direction is still 12. So I'm just going to slide this in here, and I'm going to 3 1/4 inches. Making sure that everything is lined up all the way across. Okay, so there's one. And let's see if I can do this next one a little bit quicker, because I had something that distracted me, and there he goes again. That is my dog barking. And so last time I just shut this down, but this time I'm just going to keep going even though he is barking. You know, I like that side better. Let me go this direction, and 3 1/4 inches. And you can choose, you know, which part of the paper that you want to use. But now I have enough here to make 3 of these, and we're only going to be making 1 today. Next, we're going to do some scoring, and I could use this because it has a score blade, but I've decided that I actually want to use a scoreboard. And I just find it easier to find the lines right there. So that is what I'm going to be using. Before I start scoring, I want to point out something, and I'm going to turn this around, because the first score line that I make is going to create the pocket that is on the inside of the notebook. And as you can see, it gets cut in half. And so whatever is here is what's going to be on the inside. The next score line is going to create the front of the notebook, and the last score line will create the back of the notebook. So if there is a certain pattern and you say, well, I don't want that hidden on the inside, I want it on the outside, you may want it on the other end, which is what I'm going to do right now. Okay, so now I'm going to start scoring, and the first score line is going to be at 3 1/8, which is this line right past the 3. So there's the 3, then there's a line, and then there's a 4th. We're going to go to that line in between, so 3 1/8. And the next one is going to be 6 1/4. Then we're going to do 6 5/8, which is the line right past 6 1/2. So we're going to do that score, and the last one is going to be at 7 inches. And we have all of our scoring done. And if you were using, you know, the ruler, just measure out where those are, draw a line, and bend it over the ruler on all of these. It'll be that easy, so don't worry about it. So now we have these, and I'm just going to start folding them, and they all get folded the same direction, whether you're looking at it from this direction, which makes them all mountain folds, or whether you look at them from this direction, in which case they all look like they're all valley folds. But here we go. We are done with that part. Now we're going to do a little cutting, because we are going to create this space right here that the pin goes in. So what we're going to do is, we have those 3 score lines. So there's 1, 2, and 3. We are going to fold the middle one up. So we have a score line on each side. We're folding the middle one up. You want to make sure that everything is going the direction that it's going to go, so that this piece right here is your back flap. And we are going to make 2 little snips right over to that score line. Now, there is no exact measurement here, but, and I have to do this where I can see my score line, but I'm just going to snip over, and I'm going to come down a little ways and snip over. The exact measurements, I eyeball it, but let me see if I can get a measurement here for you. So about 3/4 of an inch and about 1/2 inch. Okay, so this is about 3/4 of an inch down, and then another 1/2 inch down to create that. And then we are going to fold that center score line down to a valley fold instead of a mountain fold. So we're going to fold it like that, but we are going to pop this one up to a mountain fold. So we now have valley fold, mountain fold, and valley fold. Okay, so that part is done. Now we're going to do a little cutting. So again, making sure that everything is the right way. So this is the back, this is where the pin goes, this is the front, this is the inside pocket. Everything is facing the right direction. I am now going to grab my ruler and I'm going to measure in 3/4 of an inch from that score line. Okay, so 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to come over and I am going to, put a little mark right there. I'm going to come down here to the side and I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom, and I'm going to put another mark just like that. And then I'm going to draw a line from one mark to the other. So just let me get things lined up here. Draw a line just because it makes it easier to see. And then you can either use your scissors to do that, or you can use your paper trimmer, and that's what I like to use. So what I do is I'll probably stick my head in the way here, but I'm going to line up the line that I drew just like that with the ridge right here. Fold that down, and there we go. So now when we fold that in, we have created our little pocket right there. Guess what? That was it. We're all done with cutting and scoring, and all that's left to do is a little taping or gluing. So we're going to come to these pieces that are mountain folds now on the inside. So on the outside, they're the valley folds, that mountain fold there. On the inside, they are mountain folds, and we're going to put tape on this side, the side that faces the back, and I'm using 1/4 inch double-sided tape, and I'm going to put it right along there. Now that space is a little bit bigger than 1/4 of an inch, and I'll show you what I like to do. Okay, so I've got the double-sided tape on there. I'm going to remove the protective backing and make sure that you do not get anything on that piece right there. Okay, so what I like to do, because I think that my Beacon 3-in-1 will hold a lot better than double-sided tape, I will add my beacon to that little space down there at the bottom that the tape didn't reach, because like I said, that was a little bit bigger than 1/4 of an inch, so I might even add a couple of little drops there. All right, and so now we're going to fold that over just like so, right toward this back area. And now that that is done, it's going to look like that on the outside. So you have a back edge and then the place to put your pin. So it's right in that little area. And now that that is done, we just need to put some tape on here. So again, double-sided tape, and I am using 1/4 inch, and I am putting this right along the bottom and a little right up the side right there. And then I am going to again remove the protective backing, and I am still going to be adding a little bit of my beacon, just a couple of drops here and there, just kind of like that. Like, I don't want to cover up the double-sided tape, I just want to add just a little extra. Okay, with this open, we're going to fold that over, and now we have created the pocket. So there we go. It's almost done. Now all we have to do is put the Post-it notes in the back, the pin in the slot, and decorate it. If you want to, decorating's an option. Okay, if you're a beginner, you may not have a lot of things to decorate it with. And if you are an advanced crafter, you may have a ton of things to decorate it with. But now it's time to add the Post-it notes to the inside. Okay, so here are my Post-it notes, and I'm going to be using 1/2 inch double-sided tape, but you can still use 1/4 of an inch or whatever you want. And I'm going to flip it over, making sure I know which direction it opens, and I'm just going to be adding some tape right here to the back. I didn't even get it on straight, but it doesn't matter because no one is going to see this. And I like to add 3 rows. This is just my preference. You can, of course, cover it completely or just add a couple of rows. It's up to you. And then I also like to add some of my beacon in between those areas. So in these areas right here, I'll show you here in a second. Just get this peeled off. And the good thing is that this is refillable, because once it's empty, you can just glue another one right in. So it's not like you're making this and once the Post-it notes are gone, then this whole thing is a waste, because it's not. So that is one of the cool things about this, is that you can definitely reload it. Yeah, I think I'll put a couple drops there too. What the heck? Okay, so making sure that this is opening the right direction. I'm going to open this up. And do you see how that folds in there? Okay, we're going to go right up against that fold. I'm going to try to not get my head in the way, because I also need to make sure that I'm getting this all lined up properly. So hold on. And you don't want it so close to the fold that you can't close the book, okay? But I just want to make sure that everything is lined up here, because I'm really picky about that. Okay, so now we have that in there. And look at that. There is a cute little notebook for your Post-its that is just perfect for on your desk, in your purse, however you want to do that. And let me grab a pen, and I'm going to slide that right in there. And look at that. And then we have a little pocket here. I'll grab this piece of cardstock there. So we have a little pocket there, which is perfect. If you write down somebody's phone number and then you need to get to another piece of a Post-it, you don't want to lose it, take it off, fold it, and stick it in this pocket, and you are not going to lose it. And, you know, with this way, and I noticed this is popping up, don't worry about that right now, because it won't, it just needs to be scored a little bit better. But you could put a closure on here. For example, on this one, I added the ribbon tie, but as you can see, it really doesn't need it, but I did add that. You can always add, you know, a little piece of cardstock flap coming around and then using something like a magnet or Velcro to close it. There are just so many options, but you don't need to add a closure at all if you don't want to. Okay, now that it's done, guess what? It's time to decorate it. And here it is decorated. And I used the ephemera pack that coordinates with the paper pad that I used. And I popped some of it up with foam tape to add some dimension. And then I used some stickles to give it some sparkle. And I really love how this turned out. It's so pretty. But keep in mind, you can also create a closure like I did. I did a tie closure. You can create any type of closure you want. And you can decorate it any style you want. Like with this one, I used lace and appliques and a butterfly, and it just looks so elegant. I absolutely love this one. But if you are not into decorating or don't have many supplies, you can always leave it with just the beautiful paper, because that looks really nice too. And if you did have stickles, you could go around the edges of things if you would like, or maybe you'd like to add some pearls or rhinestones or something. So that's another option. So there's just a few ideas right there on how to decorate them. Or if you prefer layers, then you can watch the video that I'm going to have linked right here on the screen as this video is ending, and it'll take you to the tutorial on making these with the layers. So it'll give you all of the dimensions for everything you need. And these are just really great little things to give as gifts. For example, if you're a teacher and you want to give gifts to a fellow teacher for some reason, whether it's just a way to say thank you or a special holiday, No matter where you work, these are great little gifts for your fellow workers. They're great gifts for your kids to give to their teachers. There's just so many uses for these, and they are just so cute, but make sure that you make one for yourself. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.